This is crazy. Here's another dumb video. This is a perfect dumb video. I like a nice, things are very serious. I got heated at the beginning. Playing truth, you missed it. I got heated talking about Joe Rogan's worst guest ever. So I got heated. Then we got some serious stuff, some Trump stuff. Trump's always hilarious, the way he goes at CNN and stuff. But then we get to this guy. This guy's dumb. This is a dumb guy. Listen to this.
Is facing 5 years in prison after disturbing a restricted island and violating international law. All to film content and leave this ancient remote tribe a can of Coke. Ladies and gentlemen, we might have a new contender for the Hall of Fame of complete morons.
An American tourist has been arrested for allegedly traveling to a restricted reserve on a remote island and leaving behind a can of Coke as an offering for the world's most isolated tribe to try. Mikhailo Viktorovich Polyakov was arrested in India's Andaman and Nicobar Islands after he allegedly visited a prohibited tribal reserve on North Sentinel Island without authorization.
So apparently we're doing this for content now. Well, that's a nightmare of an island that has for some reason attracted the wildest form of unwanted tourism. Now, including Mikhailo Polyakov, a 24-year-old American YouTuber known for thrill-seeking adventure vlogs and now for violating international law. He goes by the Neo-Orientalist on YouTube and has a few thousand subscribers and is currently making headlines for illegally landing on the North Sentinel Island, home to the famously uncontacted Sentinelese tribe. You know, the people who've made it extremely clear that they want nothing to do with the outside world. Like, arrow to the head, level of clear.
Tucked away in the picturesque waters of the Bay of Bengal exists a tiny island that has captured imaginations for centuries. But its beauty as a tropical paradise is not what has garnered attention. Rather, it is the often violent, uncontacted tribe that calls the island home. For most, this island is a window into the past and an opportunity to understand how ancient people lived. But for some, this island has become their final resting place.
Well, what did Polyakov actually do? He showed up to Point Blair, the capital of the Andaman of the Nicobar Islands, with the camera, an inflatable boat, and apparently zero regard for history or laws. On March 29th, he set off solo on his boat, which, by the way, I guess is the YouTube version of Hold My Beer. After a 9-hour journey, he reached the northeastern shore of the North Sentinel Island, ready to go full Columbus, but instead of smallpox and holy crosses, he brought a Diet Coke and a coconut. Not even a full meal. Just a weird snack combo and a whistle. Come on, dude. And with this whistle, he tried to get the tribe's attention. And obviously blowing a whistle at an uncontacted tribe, I guess that's how you get a collaboration invite.
Polyakov spent roughly an hour blowing a whistle from his inflatable boat in hopes of drawing attention to himself, but received no response. He landed on the island for roughly 5 minutes, during which he collected samples, recorded a video, and left behind a can of soda and a coconut.
I would love, first off, this guy's a moron, just the greatest moron of all time. Yeah. He was just trying to make the world sing in perfect harmony. The people of this island, do they want reparations? No, apparently they do not want reparations. They want nothing to do with any of us. They don't know what a black person is or a white person. They don't know that there's different races. They have been like this for 10,000 years or something like that. Something crazy. But when it comes to these people, I would love to know what their history is. Like, what do they have recorded as history? Because you know what I think about these people, and I hope you put on your tinfoil Speedo, because you should have done that already, okay? I think these people existed in a time where technology was where it's at now, or even better, and people were doing what people do, which is taking it way too far, and they got to a point where they said, you know what? You guys are going too far, and we don't want any part of this. We're going to this island. Stay away from us, right? And then, as we see is very possible now with AI, nuclear weapons, etc., the people of that time, all the way back then, destroyed themselves completely. And these people didn't know, because they were just like, people with technology are terrible. We're staying away from all technology. We do not want it. We want nothing to do with it. Done. And then they just became these people. So they just have no... I just wonder what their history was. You know? Because here's the thing. If you and I were to, it was probably regular Coca-Cola. I mean, you don't, buddy, you don't go to a tribe with Diet Coca-Cola. Diet? I know President Trump loves Diet Coke. You do not visit an uncontacted tribe with Diet Coke or Coke Zero. You take a regular Coca-Cola, okay, like a gentleman. What? With real corn syrup in it, and you give them a nice taste of today's culture. You don't give them diet. What are you talking about? It's their first one. You have a good time with your first one. You don't go diet first time. All that foam? No. Yeah, diet would be insulting. It's ridiculous. You don't do that. You don't do that to people. We live in a civilization, okay? We live in a civilization. I have tried Mexican. Mexican Coca-Cola is delicious. They use cane sugar. You see what I mean? Like, you gotta know what you can do. You don't bring them a cherry Coke. You don't bring them Dr. Pepper. You bring them the original. You let them get the original first, right? These are dangerous people. You want to have a good relationship with them right off the bat. I'm just saying. But this could easily be, think about this. Right now, I'm one of those people, I don't like technology at all. It's not that I don't like it. I think it's going too far. I think Neuralink can go too far. I think AI can go too far. I think the little robots that they're making can go too far. One day, they're all going to come together. Neuralink, the little robots, Elon Musk, Boston Dynamics, the robots that they're making, Neuralink, AI, ChatGPT can all come together and make something that can just possibly harm us, more than likely harm us. I don't like that. What if there was, and there's millions of people like me, there has to be. What if all of a sudden one day technology just went too far and the millions of us just said, okay, we're leaving. We're going deep into the forest. We're going so deep. Leave us alone. Do not contact us. Stay away from us. And anytime that technology people tried to come forward and come to us and be around us, we would just do exactly what these people do. They hit them with arrows. They don't play around. Like it's so easy, kind of. It's so easy to become an uncontacted tribe because you would just have to leave society. And then you and whatever group you're with, you just have kids. They don't even know about technology. They have little glimpses because you're fighting off technology. Then more time goes by. By the time it's like 4 generations, that's an uncontacted tribe. They don't know anything about the outside world whatsoever. So it just, in my head, I call it like a movie script. I don't call them conspiracies. Okay? Because that's not fun. I call them movie scripts. It's very easy for those people to possibly have lived in a time, not them themselves, but their ancestors lived in a time where technology was just raging the way it is now. And then again, like I said, those people wiped themselves out. They still existed because they stayed away from technology, no chips in their brains, et cetera, et cetera. And then the next thing you know, 6 generations down the line, not even with these people, this is like 100 generations, not 100. It's like 75 generations down the line, they're these people. They're just wearing this stuff. They got bows and arrows, and they have no idea what a plane is or anything. Very possible. It's very possible. I always think of that. Oreo Coke. Listen, no, okay? Don't do that. Don't be ridiculous, okay? You're bringing up ridiculous things.
As offerings for the Sentinelese tribe.
I feel like the ingredients of a Diet Coke would probably burn a hole in the tribe's stomach, man. Like, let's chill here. Let's not leave that for them. But thankfully, he didn't make contact. For his own sake, but also he did collect some sand, film on the beach, and then I guess peaced out like it was some regular beach day. Mission Trespass on Sacred Land is complete, but here's the plot twist. Back on the mainland, some local fishermen saw what he was up to and reported him. Polyakov was arrested on March 31st, now faces multiple charges, including violation under India's Foreigners Act and tribal protection laws. If convicted, he's looking at up to 5 years in Indian prison, which is a pretty steep price for a simple vlog title. why are some influencers committing crimes in countries where you would never ever want to go to prison in? I mean, we just covered Vitali. Why would you ever break laws in countries that have prisons that look like this? But also, honestly, the amount of time sounds a little short for what he actually did. Because let's be real, what he did wasn't brave. This is just incredibly reckless. Indigenous groups, legal experts, and common sense all agree that you don't mess with the Sentinelese. Not because they're scary, well, they are as well, but because we are. We carry diseases that they've never been exposed to. Contact could wipe them out, like it did so many other tribes throughout history. But you know, for the sake of this video, let's put all the dangers to the tribe aside. Let's put all the international law to the side. Let's just say, this is an extremely stupid move considering how multiple journalists, missionaries, and many more have died for attempting to do this exact thing. So for those who don't know, let me break down what this island is and why this tribe has a history of people needing to stay far away from it. All right. Picture this, a beautiful tropical island straight out of a travel brochure, white sand, blue water, lush jungle, and if you step foot on it, you might get hit with an arrow.
Hey, you. You're that IRL streamer, aren't you? I used to do content like you until I took a 2.5 meter long arrow to the knee.
This is exactly where all those Skyrim guards went. So, welcome to North Sentinel Island, where the local vibe is no visitors ever. It's home to the Sentinelese, possibly the last uncontacted tribe on Earth, and when I say uncontacted, I mean they've been ghosting humanity for thousands of years. These people are the real-life version of hardcore Minecraft. They're like that tribal YouTube channel that went like super viral for building crazy stuff with mud, but minus the excavators, because, you know, they were also exposed for that. So while neighboring islands have been colonized, developed, and turned into places where you can probably get Wi-Fi and an overpriced smoothie, North Sentinel Island have stayed essentially stuck in time, on purpose. They basically told the rest of the world that they don't want any technology. No thank you. The first time they were caught on camera, you could literally see them try to put arrows through the people filming.
At last, the first glimpse of the Sentinelese. This tribe believes in total isolation. It will not tolerate a stranger.
As is obvious in the footage, the tribe had no interest in making friends, and rather buried half of the gifts they'd been given before shooting arrows toward the film crew.
A member of our film unit was wounded by one of the many arrows, each 2.5 meters long.
So either Mikhailo saw this, did his research beforehand and said, screw it, a 2.5 meter arrow, that ain't that bad. Or he didn't prepare for this trip at all. But I have a feeling he kind of did, because he showed up with a coconut. And we will learn later on that the only contact that humans have had that has been a positive contact with this island has been because they were bribing them with coconuts. But if it was up to me, one simple Google search would that would make my mind up. I wouldn't go. Took me 15 seconds to realize I would never want to go to that island.
You bring them coconuts. That's insane. Why would you do that? That's ridiculous. Bring them watermelons. Ha 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 ha. You get it? You know what's funny? They're right near India. They haven't been contacted for thousands of years, and they look like black people. That's very weird. That I don't understand. See, that's what I mean. I would love to know what their history is. Like, what's going on with you guys? Look at where you are. Look at how you look. What was happening before? Because they just keep lying to us about things. They're like, Egyptians built this and people built these pyramids, and they just keep lying to us all the time. I would just love to know, what's the real history? Because we're not being told the real history when it goes back thousands and thousands of years. They're not telling us the truth. It's ridiculous.
But I've also realized that there's a very big difference in how normal people operate and think compared to the people that I normally cover here on this channel. There's a very big difference. Well, the first real sighting of this island came in 1771 when a British ship spotted flickers of fire on shore, probably cooking dinner or prepping the arrows. Hard to say. But things got real in the 1890s when an escaped prisoner washed up on the island. Search parties went to look for him and they found him full of arrows. Definitely not a warm welcome. That's more like get off my lawn, but in a really intense way. Fast forward to the 1960s, Indian anthropologists decided to go play National Geographic and roll up with boats full of gifts, coconuts, metal tools, plastic stuff, basically just this weird early version of an Amazon delivery. First visit, nobody home. The tribe, I guess, just dipped into the jungle, left their huts, fires, and food behind like you weren't invited. But then came this rare moment of success in the 90s, where an anthropologist named Madhumala Chattopadhyay oh no. when an anthropologist named joined the crew. First woman to try, by the way, and the team floated coconuts towards the beach. And the Sentinelese actually came out to grab them. I mean, one guy even checked out the boat like he was browsing a used car lot. So that was cool because it was calm, peaceful, no one got stabbed. Great. But the next visit, things escalated. Because since 1996, it's been straight up illegal to go anywhere near this North Sentinel island. The law says don't go within 3 nautical miles unless you're trying to get featured in some news headline saying tourist impaled by dozens of arrows on this remote island. And that's exactly what happened to some fishermen.
2 men aged 48 and 52 were fishing for mud crabs near the island. However, the pair got so drunk that while sleeping, the anchor of the boat, which was a rock tied to a rope, fell apart and drifted the men toward North Sentinel. The following morning, fellow fishermen said they tried to shout at the men and warn them that they were in danger. However, they did not respond. They were probably drunk, and the boat drifted into the shallows where they were attacked and killed.
Yeah, that's a rough fishing spot. You go out to fish and get a little drunk and you end up in the worst possible spot ever. But recently, this also happened to another American tourist in 2018. Enter John Allen Cho, a 26-year-old missionary adventurer and, how do I put it, a guy with a terrible plan. Because I guess he hired a fisherman to smuggle him to the island because he wanted to convert the Sentinelese to Christianity, which is a very bold move. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised the Jehovah's Witness hasn't tried this yet, but I guess that just goes to show you that some front lawns can't even be passed by a Jehovah's Witness. But this guy actually wrote in his diary, "My name is John, I love you and Jesus loves you," and the Sentinelese were like, "Cool story, here's an arrow." Apparently even his Bible was hit with an arrow, and according to the people from his mission, this wasn't like John just got up and decided to do this on a whim. He tried to prepare for this.
Although, according to the head of the mission he was working for, John was significantly more prepared. All Chow's decisions, including his studies of sports science and training and working as a wilderness emergency medical technician, and classes he took in linguistics and cultural anthropology, were in preparation to share Jesus with the North Sentinelese. He was very well prepared for this moment.
So he was as prepped for this as a person I guess could be, and still it ended very badly. Almost like this shouldn't be attempted.
This is insane. This every attempt sounds ridiculous. And it seems like, from what I can hear, that the dumb guy at the beginning of this video, this guy who got arrested, whatever his name was,
This YouTuber,
he seems like the most successful one. He went there, he had a Coke, he chilled for a little bit, he grabbed some sand and left. It seems like he has done the most out of everybody. I thought he was the dumb guy of the video, but apparently he seems like he did the best. He lived, and he's going to jail. That seems to be the best case scenario when it comes to this island. So good for him. What can I say? He did a good job. No? Am I wrong? He did a good job. Everybody else is getting hit with arrows. We're about to hear about one guy who's going to trying to bring Jesus there. This guy was like, I just want to make a video. I just want to get some views. I want to get the likes. I want to make some money on YouTube, and I'm out. Good job. Good job, man. I didn't make the video, but still, solid.
Significantly more prepared. All Chow's decisions, including his studies of sports science,
attempted no matter what you try to do. The actual breakdown of what happened to John happened over 3 days. Day 1, he paddled over in a kayak, carrying fish, gifts, and a Bible. When he got near the beach, the Sentinelese shot arrows at him, including one from a kid that nailed his waterproof Bible. And listen, if a child shoots an arrow through your scripture, that's probably your divine sign to turn around. But did Chow leave? No, of course not. He tried again. This time he wrote in his journal, "God, if you want me to be killed, so be it." Dude, if you believe in God, you can also argue that God gave you a brain to avoid this. But on day 3, the fisherman watched from a distance as the Sentinelese dragged his body across the sand and buried it. John Allen Cho was killed, just like nearly every person before him who tried to enter this island without permission. So, why all the secrecy? Why the arrows? Well, again, beyond protecting their culture, there's a very real risk. The Sentinelese have zero immunity to common diseases, and even a cold could wipe them out. So yes, going there could literally be fatal to them and to you. I mean, even a Diet Coke could kill them, but I don't know. The point is, none of us know. A random YouTuber like Mikalo for sure doesn't know. And at the end of the day, North Sentinel isn't a lost island. It's not a mystery to solve. It's a community that just wants to be left alone. And honestly,
nah, it's a mystery. It's a mystery to be solved. You don't even know what's in there. You have no idea. Those guys could just be the front men, and then you go through the forest a little bit, and it's like Vegas. You don't know. You don't know. Could be underground tunnel, and next thing you know, it's a lounge. You don't know. You have no idea. It could be another dude who's like an Epstein, and that's his cover for his island. Anybody comes, you guys just act like you're, you know? They're like, okay. All right. Then they go out there. Someone's out there. Hold on. Let me get my arrows. All right, guys. Everybody knows the drill, right? Unga bunga and all that stuff, right? All right, on 3, let's go. But back there, it's like this beautiful island where all sorts of heinous, disgusting acts are taking place with scientists and all of the heads of the industries throughout the world, politicians, all that stuff, you know? I'm just saying, it's possible. Yeah. It's like Vegas. It's a lounge. You know, it could be like the Grotto. It could be like a Playboy Mansion. You don't know. You have no idea. That's a mystery to be solved. You got to know. They got 2-foot arrows. What's happening? What are they eating? You know? What are they eating, guys? You got to think about that. They got to be eating something. You're telling me they're not eating things? You know. Come on. Anyway. Wanted to end it on a dumb note today. I didn't have anything super deep. That Rogan episode just threw me off. That guy is just such a weirdo. That Douglas Murray character. But I'm going to hop on here tomorrow for sure. And